Tonight on CTV News, firefighters work in overdrive as more fires continue to plague the region. We preview local Waitangi Day celebrations and more art comes to Christchurch City.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening. Roads have begun to reopen around a blaze near Oxford, but Woodstock Road remains closed as contractors check power lines close to where the scrub fire began. It was contained about 2 hours ago, and rural firefighters from the Waimakariri area are still damping down hotspots at the scene. Meanwhile, it's been a trying day for residents following yesterday's massive blaze west of Christchurch, as Marcus Gibbs reports.
A community devastated by fire.
I couldn't see anything. There was smoke just bellowing for miles, flames higher than the trees that were in the backyard.
This is all that remains of Bruce Hobbs' house after flames spread from Pound Road, tearing through the neighbourhood.
Within 2 minutes, saw it cross the paddock and light the house next door up.
Bruce's life was turned upside down when his home, possessions, budgies and $80,000 vintage motorbike collection went up in flames. Friends and family have since been consoling Bruce, helping him to salvage what's left. He's been touched by the news that donations on the Give a Little website have totalled more than $25,000.
That's really cool. That's community for you, you know. We pull together, we help each other out.
On the face of it, his next door neighbour Julie was one of the lucky ones. Her home was left untouched by the flames that blackened the land around her.
So close, every bit of lawn bar where I left the hose running is black, right around the house.
But the flames still left their mark on her business and property. This fire has cost her thousands of dollars in lost revenue, and it will take weeks before her new business, Just Good Grub, is back up and running.
Had the best trading day ever yesterday for the year, and then came home and within half an hour all the stock's gone out. We've lost all our fridges, all our pies, all drinks, everything.
Her late husband's possessions, all destroyed in the flames.
All the stuff I was going to give my kids from home, all up in smoke.
This community wasn't too surprised. They'd been complaining about the long dry grass for weeks, and when the fire started, it wasn't long before it was out of control.
The wind just picked up the flames and just pushed it right across the paddock, and then the wind changed and came this way, and just the whole paddock just lit up like a gulf of flames. It was incredible.
This community is now pulling together to clean up the mess and rebuild. And Bruce has vowed that if any funds are left over after he rebuilds his house, the first thing he'll do is buy another motorcycle. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
It's our National Day tomorrow, and to some Waitangi Day is just another holiday, but for others it does carry deeper cultural significance. Jared McCulloch talks to the Christchurch Mayor to find out the city's plans.
For some, tomorrow will be a time of relaxation or just another public holiday, but this Waitangi Day is a special one, celebrating 175 years since the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi. Although the official ceremony isn't held in Canterbury, Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell says it's still a very important day.
The treaty wasn't just signed at Waitangi, that's where it was first signed, and so actually Inuku Marae, which is part of Christchurch City Council's boundary out in Akaroa, that is a place where the treaty was signed, and every 3 years Ngāi Tahu goes there to celebrate that. So it's very meaningful, very, very present and real for the people of Christchurch.
Christchurch is involved in a celebration of its own tomorrow. Around 30 people will be sworn in as new citizens to the city. A citizenship ceremony is being held on this public holiday.
Tomorrow we're off to Rapaki Marae, and we held a citizenship ceremony there last year. That was my first time as mayor on Waitangi Day on a marae, and I have to say it was the most moving experience of my life, so I'm really looking forward to it.
As for Waitangi Day itself, Mayor Leanne Dalzell says as time goes on, it's become more significant here in Christchurch.
I think that since I was a child, the knowledge and experience of the importance of the treaty has certainly grown, and when I was a child it perhaps wasn't so important, it was just a holiday. Now it's a lot more meaningful for a lot more people.
The citizenship ceremony starts at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
The anti-smoking message isn't getting through to some Christchurch retailers, with some continuing to flout the law, selling cigarettes to underage teenagers.
An underage operation has uncovered 3 retailers are guilty of selling cigarettes to minors. Underage volunteers from the Canterbury District Health Board visited 37 stores last month, finding 3 of those failed to properly identify their age. People must be over the age of 18 years old to buy smokes. Canterbury's Medical Officer of Health, Alistair Humphrey, says it's disappointing. In the previous 18 months, there wasn't one sale to underage during the controlled purchase operations. Dr Humphrey says to have 3 in 1 week is disappointing. The CDHB is urging tobacco retailers to train staff to ask for ID when selling smokes. The fine for selling to a minor is $500, and the government estimates more than 8% of the population aged under 18 are smokers.
Still to come, 24 charities come together to open a Christchurch Community House. Welcome back. 24 much-needed local charities are now operating from one location in Christchurch's CBD. It's a move that's been long coming, and today Christchurch Community House officially opened. Jared McCulloch was there.
And together we are now going to declare Community House officially open.
It's a day of celebration, a 4-year journey that ends and begins here. Christchurch Community House opened its doors to its new facility on Chewham Street after having to relocate from the Hereford Street site that was badly damaged and unable to be used in the February 2011 quake. But today, it's all about the official opening.
We've been in this facility since 1 October, but it's taken us a while to get set up and get settled. So Leanne Dalziel, Mayor of Christchurch, has come in today to officially open the centre. It's a fantastic occasion.
A large group of people gathered to witness the opening ceremony, housing 24 community organisations separated by dividers and rooms spread out throughout the building. The new workplace will provide services with meeting rooms and affordable office spaces, all in one location and within the 4 Avs. And it's taken a lot of people to help put this group back together.
Funders have been very, very supportive. Christchurch Earthquake Appeal and Rotary Earthquake Appeal Trust helped us with the initial fit out of the building. So all the offices and open plan spaces were all ready for organisations to move into, which was really, really exciting.
The Community House has been operating since the late 80s and has moved numerous times since its establishment, relocating 6 times in total. This wall shows all the locations the Community House has resided to over the years, but after the quakes it was tough. The house was homeless.
People have been working from their cars, from their garages, from their homes. We've had 2 temporary premises. So it's been a long journey to get to our permanent premises here at 301 Chewham Street.
Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalziel attended the opening and says it's a great day for the community.
Well, it's wonderful to have everyone back together under one roof. They've certainly faced a lot of challenges over the last 4 years, moving from place to place and not being together. So, actually the team, the trust, they've actually managed to keep groups that had to be spread far and wide. They've managed to keep them together in spirit, if not in place, and now back in one place. It's fantastic.
And she believes it's another step forward in the rebuild and for the Community House.
Yeah, they can't necessarily, pay for all of the resources that keep the organisations going unless they collectivise, come together in one place, and that's what Community House has been. It's bringing people together to work together, and of course we all know after the earthquakes that that's exactly what needs to be done.
And now it begins here, a message from one group that hopefully this will be their new home forever. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
Well, after being stored out of sight for nearly 10 years, the $3.3 million fanfare art sculpture is in serious need of restoration before it can be installed on Chinese Corner. Emma Cropper explains.
It's set to be the biggest public art piece in the country, but this 20-metre high fanfare structure has arrived in the country in a state of disarray.
It's a fair condition. I won't say bad, fair condition, seeing that it's a couple of years old and it was sitting in a container for quite a long time.
The large sphere originally hung below the Sydney Harbour Bridge a decade ago at New Year's Eve, designed to be seen just for a fleeting time. Work is being undertaken to now make it a lasting piece of art.
It was previously a temporary structure, so there's lots of modifications involved, lots of welding involved.
The repair and reconstruction of the colossal art piece began a couple of months ago as it makes its way through a long process before going up on display.
Well, it goes from here to the sandblasters, and then from the sandblasters to the galvanizers, and from the galvanizers goes on site on the motorway, and the whole structure will be assembled and put up.
360 reflective pinwheels will bring the large sphere to life for passing commuters heading down the northern motorway.
When you make these big public art works and there's a lot of energy and a lot of work goes into them and they're only up for 3 weeks, it's kind of sad. So the fact that it has an ongoing life is an absolute treat, and the fact that it's near my hometown is even better.
The design was a mixture of trial and error, supposed to resemble a large mirror ball for Sydney's New Year Eve disco party.
They had tried to make a mirror ball, a huge mirror ball, and of course the windage on it was so great. So I took that theme and just modified it a little bit, and I thought if things moved in the wind they wouldn't take so much, and then I came up with the idea of just using fans, the simple that's a pinwheel fan that we all know that we had on a stick. So again, it's an accessible object that people know really easily.
But the colossal artwork doesn't come cheap. Over the past 5 years, Scape Public Art has been raising the $3.3 million for the work to secure its spot on the motorway, but is still in need of an extra $47,000 to reach their target.
Our aim is to get to that target by May, when we will be announcing the date for the dedication of the sculpture and the completion.
The engineers are hoping to complete this first stage of fanfare's reconstruction to keep it on track to be on the motorway by the middle of the year. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Warren Head is here now with this week's business news.
I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz. This week I've had a very unusual experience. I've actually been to an economic briefing luncheon attended by 360 other people at the Canterbury Chamber of Commerce Westpac annual luncheon for the Reserve Bank Governor, held this year in the Transitional Cathedral. Now you might have thought 5 years ago that we probably all would have got down on our knees and prayed for a recovery in this country, but the thing that came through was that everything is pretty good compared to everybody else. In fact, the Governor even went to say, performing well. Now, he gave one of those economic sessions or seminars or sermons, I guess, a better word for it, and it covered a whole range of areas. The upshot of it was that we have very lot less to worry about than folks over in Europe and other places. And in fact, this oil price drop that we've seen, now it's going up a little bit, I know at the moment, but it's down about 58% in 6 months. What he thought that was going to do for you and I at home was lift our disposable income by about $600 per household. That little drop in the oil price, that's the sort of difference it makes. So that'll help cover the rates, for example, if you like to look at it that way. So that big driver, of course, is weakening everybody else. So overseas things have been a lot slower. And last night, the Chinese cut their interest rates a little bit to stimulate that market, and that'll help us out too. But he did make the point, the Reserve Bank Governor, that this was the weakest recovery in 70 years. It's taking a little time to get some traction. Fortunately, the US market was looking up. And then he drilled down, as he does, to the local economies, and he talked a little bit about house price inflation. I'm just picking one or two areas I think of interest to you. That annual house price inflation over a 3-month moving average in Auckland is 10.9%. Down here, 7.4%. Now, everywhere else in the rest of the country, it's only 1.1%. So it's really just Auckland and Christchurch that are driving house prices up. In fact, if you go up through the North Island, you'll find that things are pretty flat, and it's pretty hard to sell a house for a good price. So these things come with mixed messages. You take what you can out of them. The other thing that came through was that the unemployment rate is up a little bit, about 5.7%. How does that compare? Well, in Spain, Greece, it's 25% unemployment. And it went up a little bit only for one reason, more people seeking jobs. They call it the participation rate, not to get too technical about it, but it means more people out hunting for jobs. So nothing much to worry about there either. And then spending, well, since through January, there's about $235 million more spent in the stores this January than a year ago. And spending in January was $4.5 billion. Up 5.5% from last year. So all the signals are reasonably good, except on one front. If you're looking to save money, you're going to have to get used to lower yields on your fixed income. And just to comment on that in context with everybody else around the globe, in closing, you know, right now a one-year mortgage will cost you anywhere between 5.69 and 6.09 today, and some of the banks are getting pretty competitive, particularly the BNZ out there today, well below everybody else. But on the other side, their one-year savings rate, they're only offering 4%. Most of the others are offering 4.25. Now, around the globe, if you're Japanese, you can expect only to get 0.2% on your money. And in Germany, the heart of Europe, pumping away, only 0.3. So you see how different New Zealand is. And that was one of the big points that came through yesterday. We're looking good. Everybody else's risks are pretty complex. So one eye on the rest, but enjoy this weekend because you have a lot to be thankful for. I'm Warren Head for headliner.co.nz.
Thank you, Warren. Well, still to come, your weekend sports preview and your local weather. Welcome back to CTV News. Now here's Clarissa with the weekend sports preview.
The Crusaders have their final pre-season hit-out tomorrow in a Waitangi Day friendly against the Reds in Brisbane. Returning All Blacks Owen Franks and Colin Slade join the lineup for the first time, while Dan Carter will start in the 10 jersey after featuring from the bench in the last weekend loss to the Hurricanes in Eketahuna. Coach Todd Blackadder has said he would be treating the game as another opportunity to trial combinations ahead of the Super Rugby season, which begins a week tomorrow. Another local franchise begins their pre-season build-up over the weekend when the Tactics take part in the annual Summit pre-season shootout tournament in Sydney, which features all 10 franchises in the ANZ Netball Championship. Former Australian defender Demelza Fellows is one of the new recruits who will be looking to change the Tactics image as the competition easy beats. The 34-year-old has featured for the side before, playing in their inaugural season in 2008. She has since featured in successful campaigns, reaching the competition final twice with the Queensland Firebirds. The Tactics season proper gets underway on the 2nd of March. The Christchurch Marathon will return to the central city for the first time post-quake this year after being held near the airport for the past few years. The event will now start and finish at Cathedral Square with a 2-lap course completing the full marathon distance. The course will be flat and look to emulate the pre-quake route. This year's event will take place on May 31st with a number of other events planned for the day, including a 10K kids event. And finally tonight, an annual favourite takes place at Ruapuna this long weekend with the Scope Classic. A feature event this year will be the Pre-65s, celebrating over 30 years of racing with invited guests from around the country. The roaring sounds of the crowd favourite Formula 5000s will make their return to the track, while historic touring cars, the mainland muscle cars, as well as sports cars, saloons and vintage single-seaters will all hit the track for what's sure to be another weekend of great racing. Practice sessions start on Waitangi Day, with qualifying and racing through Saturday and Sunday. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
And still with local sport, Canterbury University and Crusaders have come together to replace what was once known as the Press Cup. It's now to be known as the University Championship. The long-running competition involves 15 schools from north of Waitangi playing in the first 15 boys rugby. Meanwhile, a new competition for 15 girls secondary schools, the UC Cup rather, will also be included in the championships. The competition kicks off in April. And now it's time for the region's weather.
Hello Canterbury, let's take a look at your weather. First up, Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine. It was a mild day for you today. Your high was 18 degrees. Ashburton and Methven, you were slightly warmer today, sitting on a high of 19 today. Rakaia, it was 19 degrees for you also. Darfield, Leeston and Rolleston, you all shared the same high today, hitting a mild 19. Lincoln, 19. Christchurch, 20 degrees was your high. Over in Akaroa now, it was a cool one for you today, getting a high of 19. Heading north now, Kaiapoi, Rangiora and Amberley, the big 2-0 for you all day, 20 degrees your high. It was a similar picture for Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, a slightly warmer day for you, all sharing a high of 20. And at the top of the region, Kaikoura, 20 for you also. Let's take a look at tomorrow's weather now. Timaru, a cloudy and cold day for you with morning showers clearing and strong winds easing. Tonight's low is 7, tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Moving to Ashburton, tomorrow there will be showers at first, but it will become dry during the day with cloud and cold gusty winds still hanging around. Your low tonight is 7, tomorrow's high 14. To Christchurch now, there will be strong gusty southwesterlies for your Waitangi day, and there will be a possibility of gale force winds on Banks Peninsula. However, mostly cloudy for you with showers clearing during the afternoon. Tonight's low is 8, tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Kaikoura will wrap up warm tomorrow. It's going to be a windy day for you. Cold and showery also. Tonight's low is 8, tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Taking a look at the other areas now. Temuka and Geraldine, a cooler day tomorrow with some showers in the morning, becoming cloudy in the afternoon, a high of 14 degrees. Methven and Rakaia, some showers for you and a bit of cloud later on in the day, a cool 14 degrees. Darfield, Leeston, Rolleston and Lincoln, it's going to be showery tomorrow with some cloud expected in the afternoon. You'll share a high of 14 degrees. Over in Akaroa tomorrow, it'll be a colder day for you. Showers, then cloud breaking through in the afternoon, a cool 13 degrees. To North Canterbury, Kaiapoi, Rangiora and Amberley, expect some showers in the morning with cloud creeping in by the afternoon. Your high tomorrow is 14. Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, showers in the morning and cloudy conditions are expected as the day goes on. 14 degrees tomorrow. Looking ahead for Canterbury, the cloud will clear on Saturday and sunny periods are on the horizon with cool southwesterlies dying out, turning to northeasterly winds later on in the day. Putting the sun in Sunday, it'll be mostly fine and sunny with northeasterlies expected. A period of mild northwesterly winds and a high cloud for Monday, but colder southwesterlies are expected during the afternoon with cloudy skies and some scattered showers. It'll be mostly fine and sunny on Tuesday and Wednesday with moderate northeasterly winds. And that is your weather for Thursday, and have a great Waitangi Day tomorrow.
Speaking of Waitangi Day, I do hope you can join me for tomorrow morning. I'm hosting the Mike Hosking Breakfast Show nationwide to celebrate Waitangi Day. But from the CTV News team, have a safe and happy weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.